Umar Johnson is on the prowl. Now, Netflix, they usually run a series where, they joke on people. What's they call it? Roasting. Remember when they was roasting Tom Brady, they said some real crazy things about Tom Brady and Giselle. And Tom was upset about that. He wasn't feeling that. This year they was roasting Kevin Hart. And they brought this comedian on that's always saying a bunch of racist jokes. Well, this time he came on there and he said some stuff about George Floyd and about black people with money, calling them ninjas. And Umar Johnson heard this. Man, Umar is incensed, but he wasn't the only one that was incensed. There was a lot of black people, comedians and black people calling Kevin Hart out because they felt like, well, you can make the jokes, you can roast, you can do these things, but to bring up the George Floyd situation, knowing how that went national and what that represented, that it was sort of classless and out of line.
You know, Kevin, they told me not to mention your kids on this roast, but I must say, you did good. They've gotten so big, they now buckle Kevin up in the car seat. It's true, he lost his gig hosting the Academy Awards because of some homophobic tweets, but you'd be homophobic too if you were eye level with everyone's cock. He got into a fist fight on a private plane, proof that no matter how much money black people have, they're still just gonna act like ninjas. Always fighting. Like Bill Cosby, Hart is a black comedian from Philadelphia, and like Bill Cosby, women don't know when Kevin is inside of them. You've done good though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe. God bless you, Kevin. God bless this room. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.
Now, in my opinion, the jokes that he made, most of them weren't even about Kevin Hart. I thought it was supposed to be roasting Kevin Hart. I mean, he brought in the Bill Cosby thing, right? And then he went into the George Floyd situation. He talked about no matter how much money black people got, they still ninjas. Like, he said a whole bunch of stuff, but most of it wasn't directed towards Kevin Hart. What did George Floyd and Bill Cosby have to do with anything, right? So he brings up the George Floyd, and like I said, I just thought that it was classless. But in my opinion, I think that he was sent there. Now, I know he says jokes, and I remember he said some jokes about Trump, right? He also said, like, he says a lot of weird stuff to try to get on, right? To try, bad controversy, good controversy is just controversy, right? That's a lot of things he does a lot of that kind of weirdo stuff. But Umar Johnson, he heard this and he was upset, right? He went on a podcast and he said this.
As a spokesman for the black freedmen of this country, as a spokesman for the black African race, I'm the most popular grassroots spokesman in the world for my people. Y'all get a pass on Mother's Day. I'm giving him a pass, Art, one pass. But I want Kevin Hart to know, and I don't care who in Philadelphia don't like it, I don't care. I'm letting Lizzo know. I'm letting Cheryl Underwood know. I'm letting Draymond Green know. Tiffany Haddish, Regina Hall, although Regina Hall stood her ground. If y'all ever let white people do this to us again, if y'all ever sit at a comedy show and let white people insult and castrate, verbally castrate, and humiliate and shame the black race like y'all did on Mother's Day, we will cancel y'all too. And I'm not playing. Y'all black entertainers better stop playing with the self-respect of black people. You black football players, you black basketball players, you rappers, you goofy ass rappers, you singers, you actors, you dancers, you comedians. I'm telling you now, white folk are going to try to use them, Art. They're going to try to use them to bring back the modern day minstrel show by humiliating us in their faces. And I'm letting the whole black entertainment world know right now, we will march on your ass. We will march on your house. We will boycott your movies. Don't play with me. I'm telling y'all now, I'm talking to every black entertainer in this country. Don't play with me. If you think we're going to sit by and allow you to let white people make a mockery of black people so you can get paid, you got another thing coming.
Now, a lot of people will say, well, Umar, where's the school? And I'll say the same thing. But I can separate the two because what Umar is saying is 100% correct, right? Now I saw Regina Hall. God, oh my God, Regina Hall. Yes, Lord Jesus. But I saw Regina Hall, and she was visibly uncomfortable. But Cheryl Underwood and all these other people, they thought it was funny. Because a lot of these people don't give a damn about the community. They got their money, and a lot of them have I can't wait to get the F out of here syndrome. They can't wait to get away from their people. Now, you know what you will never see? A small hat up there, being roasted where people are saying certain things about their people. Now, as comedians, we can say jokes and stuff like that, and you can roast Kevin, right? You know, some of the roasted things that he was saying towards Kevin, I have a problem with. But knowing our history in this country, it's really a slippery slope, right? When you're making jokes about black people because of the history of what your people have done and what happened in this country. Now, like I said, he's a comedian where he could have made jokes about Kevin, but to invoke George Floyd and talk about ninjas with money, you're going too far because of the way our image has been tarnished by this country and by the power structure in this country. You can't, certain things you just can't say because there's never been recompense for what was done to us. There's never been things to make us whole. We're still not operating on an equal playing field. So when you make those statements, where's this coming from? What are you really trying to say? Right? No, that stuff still matters. But Umar wasn't done.
Here's another joke. Who they talking about again? Cheryl Underwood, Art. This was not about Kevin Hart. This was an Erica Kirk get back. Listen to this. Her husband committed suicide after 3 years of marriage. I've only been sitting next to her for 2 hours, and I want to ask him, how did he last so long? Her husband committed suicide after 3 years. I've been sitting next to her for 2 hours. I want to ask him, how did he last so long? Art, somebody better tell Netflix. Somebody better tell Netflix that if you ever disrespect our women like this again, we are boycotting Netflix. It won't be no more Netflix. It won't be no more Netflix. In fact, Tyler Perry, start your black flicks. Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, somebody needs to start black flicks. We need to get away from Netflix anyway. You know what's funny? I just renewed my subscription to watch this. Let's continue, Art. Almost done. Here we go. George Floyd is looking up at us and laughing so hard that he can't breathe. You making jokes about black people who were murdered by police? That's funny? That's comedy? And let me say this to all the coons, Art, because guess what the coons was saying on my Instagram yesterday? You don't understand risque comedy. Nah, house nigga. Nah, house nigga. I understand risque comedy, but what I'm telling you, I don't care what kind of comedy it is. You're not going to disrespect black people because Art, what they're trying to do is bring back the minstrel show. What was the minstrel show, Art? Back from 1830 to 1930. From the Nat Turner War until the heyday of the Marcus Garvey movement, our greatest black movement of modern history, white people would dress up in blackface, Art, and they would play ridiculous, stereotypical black characters. Zip Coon, the Pickaninny, the Mammy, Uncle Tom, the Laughing Sambo, and they made us look like complete animals and morons. And why did they do it, Art? The minstrel shows, which was the most popular form of entertainment in America at that time, were done to do what? Justify the mistreatment of blacks, justify the lynching of blacks, justify the slavery of blacks. And guess what, Art? They're trying to do it again. They're trying to bring back the minstrel show with the only difference being now, Art, instead of painting their white faces black, they just gonna laugh in our black faces. It should have been called the Netflix Racist Roast of Black America featuring Cheryl Underwood. Listen to this, Art. Kevin Hart gets up there. He's the last half hour, Art. So this is about almost 3 hours. He's the last half hour right before he bring out Meek Mill to do his closeout rap. Shout out to me. Kevin Hart says, y'all told me y'all want to see a real nigga tonight, so I'ma be a real nigga. Kevin Hart, I love you, bro, but don't you dare use the N-word around these Caucasians, and don't you dare make them think it's okay to use the N-word.
Now, like, see, when you go back to having these kind of conversations when the grassroots don't have their own, they're contracted in by the dominant society. These are humiliation rituals. You want that you want to keep your seat in these places. You don't want to take that ride down Hollywood and the Vine in the back of that limousine and have to do some strange things, right? Well, it's humiliation rituals. We're going to come on here and we're going to do all kinds of bad things to you, say all kinds of bad things to you. This is what they got to do, right? Everybody knows what happened with George Floyd. Morally, you shouldn't do this kind of stuff. But we know that a lot of these people are morally bankrupt. We already know that, right? So, of course, Kevin Hart's going to come out here and do this kind of stuff. A lot of these people, man, are sick. A lot of these people will do anything, man, to remain in the lights, man. He know that was wrong, right? Like I said, you can jokes is roast, but what kind of roast is that, though? Even the Cheryl Underwood roast, right, about her husband unaliving and stuff, that's a joke? That's risque comedy? I don't know. In our culture, like, we don't make that kind of comedy, so I don't know. But Umar pushed it up another notch.
We don't do that, bro. We don't do that. And then he says, Shane was one Bud Light away from calling me a nigga. And then Kevin did something I didn't like, Art, and this is my last piece, and I'm just going to close with my assessment of this. Kevin Hart said, I'm not going to let y'all stand up here and disrespect my black queens, my black sisters, or something to that effect, right, Art? So I'm thinking he about to clap back. I'm thinking Kevin Hart about to be an alpha male and say, I didn't appreciate them jokes you made about black women tonight. You went too far, right? Instead, you know what he says? He thanks them for coming out. Regina Hall, Lizzo, Tiffany Haddish, Cheryl Underwood. And guess what he says? None of these women have a man. They a bunch of lonely bitchs. Art, they just sat through a whole night of humiliation from white comics. And here's Kevin Hart, my North Philly brother who I love and respect. He gonna turn around and right when you think he about to defend the honor of black women, Art, he throws them under the bus too. And say, ain't none of them got no man. They a bunch of lonely bitchs.
But this is why I tell you guys, don't get caught up with those athletes, entertainers, and all this kind of stuff. This is a humiliation ritual. Kevin Hart was doing what he was told in order to get back in the whip. Kevin Hart was in trouble before for saying some bad things about the Skittles crew. Kevin Hart been having allegations with his wife getting caught. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with Kevin Hart and his businesses. This is a humiliation ritual. Don't rock with these athletes, entertainers. Do you know some of the stuff that they got to do? See, did you guys hear the Harvey Weinstein story? And it's thousands of Harvey Weinsteins out there. The stuff that these women got to do to even get on movies, to get in positions. Just put it this way. If you got girls in the hood, right, selling their body for Reeboks and to get their electric bill paid, imagine what these women are doing when they're going up to Hollywood to get a role in a major movie. Imagine what some of these men are doing. They're not walking in the room forward with their chest up. They walking in the room backwards. That's what they doing. They in that limousine riding down Hollywood and Vine doing some real crazy stuff. A lot of these men and these women, they'll do anything. If they do anything in the hood, if you can get some coochie in the hood by just helping her with a mortgage, imagine if you were executive and somebody like Regina Hall walk in. And I ain't saying this just to Regina Hall, but I'm telling you what go on up there. Right? The whistle been blown already. People already been telling. People already jumped out the whip and saying, yo, I can't do this. Chris Tucker blew the whistle. So many of them blew the whistle, man, and said, I got to get up on out of here, man. This ain't it. So these are humiliation rituals, man. You going up in there when the people was telling on Harvey Weinstein, He said, yo, you want this movie? Meet me up in my room at 3 o'clock in the morning, man. Next thing you know, next thing you know, you doing Ain't No Cowgirl, right? To be in that movie. Man, you like, oh man, she just won an Oscar. Yeah, do you know what she had to do for it? Right? So man, I ain't surprised. I ain't surprised. This is what it is. So y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. But I tell you guys, don't follow these athletes, entertainers, and none of this stuff because they contracted in, especially the black ones, man. Right? If y'all made it this far, and hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.